Welcome back, my beautiful friends. As always, unexpected. We'll see how connection will be. I might have to re-record it if it gets too spotty or too blurry, but that would be draft for the thoughts in this way. So, why do men get addicted to? Why men choose women with awful reputation, women who are very, everybody but them could see that they are very manipulative, they are not good natured, they are not, uh, often not having genuine feelings, but they are women sharks. They are with the men strictly for the resources, power, or any other things, any other benefits that they can get. Hello, Elizabeth. Hello, Fuchsia. Oh, it's rough. Okay, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it private after I do it, and I will record it at home. Thank you, darling, for letting me know. Thank you for letting me know. I will record. It's. I don't know what's going on. It's a new phone. It should be a good connection, and also I put it on a higher Wi-Fi. But this could be a draft because I want to make this video, and I might actually want to have it in a shorter format. So I'll just record it again. Please let me know if it gets real bad. Real bad. So, women sharks, they don't date for feelings, they don't date for a relationship itself. They date with a strategy, they date with only the benefits that they can take. And I think a woman should be smart, and a woman should look out for herself. But it is a little bit scary in our world when people are just being extremely materialistic or obsessed with getting something from somebody. But nevertheless, it has always been this way and it will always be. One of the reasons why men getting so addicted to shark type of women, like for example Lauren Sanchez and Jeff Bezos, because shark type of women, they know what they're doing, they know the weakest spot of a man, their lustful side, number one. They usually know how to use that as a weapon, they know how to use it in every way possible. They don't have headaches. They really understand man and lust, that it's man weakest spot, and they know how to play to it. So they understand that men lust before they love. They lust first, and they truly do understand this. But I think even most importantly, these types of women, they always play to men's insecurity. They reassure a man in their power. They reassure men. They know and they observe men's insecurity, and then they reassure men to the best of their ability, as if they turn their insecurities, they make them feel like they don't have that insecurity, almost like they turn the insecurity almost into their strengths. So they don't need you don't need a psychiatrist, psychologist, or anybody like this when you have someone that turns your insecurity into your strengths, it plays to your insecurity, you know. Um, it's an art. I'm not giving a master class, but it's an art. And for example, ladies like Lauren Sanchez, you know, for those ladies who want to learn how to get a man, very successful man, I think Lauren Sanchez could teach. Not her fan. I don't really find her that inspiring. She kind of scares me, I'll be honest. But nobody can argue that she had, I mean, she just married the richest man, one of the richest men on planet Earth. So one of the things that she did, of course, yes, she definitely played to his lust. She knew that any man who has been in a very long marriage is probably not having that exciting life in a bedroom. You know, let's be real. She knew that his wife is more of a proper, classy lady, and so she decided to be the exact opposite. She made her research. She knew that obviously you can tell a lot by the way somebody presents themselves. She knew that she can show some tips and some tricks to this guy that he is starving, um, and that is his insecurity since he was very young, because he was kind of nerdy. We're talking about Jeff Bezos right now. He was a super nerd in school. That's how he got so rich, right? And you know, and therefore she knew exactly what she was doing. She knew exactly what she was doing. She played to his lust. She played to his insecurity from when he was very young, because he's an absolute nerd. And she understands what kind of crisis the men go. I mean, every marriage after, if you observe, maybe you or somebody you know, when you've been married usually for so many years, things kind of settle and things are kind of, you know, you usually focus on more other things. I mean, some people are very lucky and they have passion for many, many years, but usually it's something a lot more subtle. So for those ladies who are looking um, to, you know, learn some things, even from the so-called shark, women sharks, like heartless women, because I think she's pretty heartless. I can just tell it from her aura, so to speak. I don't know, but that's how it feels to me. Uh, why I think that she's a heartless woman is because she went through, in every relationship, um, she goes up in every relationship with she goes up with a strategy. It's always a richer man, and her way out of every relationship is cheating. You know, it's one thing when you want to end relationship and start a new one. It's another thing if your every relationship is you cheating to the next one. So that's why I think that she's heartless. Also, she just, I can't help it, but she has a very heartless vibe. I can't help it, it's just there. But anyway, nevertheless, she, yes, it's called social climber for sure. She is a social climber, but you know, when you are married, you have children, you have vows. Um, it's more than a social climber, you know. In social climber, you use connections, you know, you use things, but I think that, you know, in this case it's a little bit more than just a social climber. You know, it doesn't mean, not every social climber is going from one relationship to another. was breaking a family, breaking the vows and all of that. So that's some serious climbing. You're not wrong. You're not wrong about this. Anyway, um, she studied. So these types of women, they truly do study their victims, so to speak. They really do study. They don't just come and wear seductive clothes. They really, really study their victims. Just like, for example, Meghan Markle. She studied that poor bastard. She studied that poor bastard. What's his name? Prince. I don't know if he's still a prince, but Harry. She for sure studied him. She studied him so well. She studied his mom. He studied everything. Why people dislike Meghan Markle? Because she is a shark. By the way, she's a great example of a shark woman. Because she is a shark woman, she made it on herself. At first, people really like her because, she was bringing fresh blood to the royal family. She was, something unique, something exotic. She could have been the star, but people dislike her because she isolated her her husband. So she isolated one of the king, one of the Charles' sons. She broke the royal family. That's why people dislike her. She created a lot of controversy. She was welcomed. She had the best wedding of the century, and she was not the freshest bride, if you know what I mean. You know, she was a shark. She was 100% a shark. She's one of the best examples of a shark because she studied the subject. She studied Harry's weak sides. She knew all about his pain about his mother. She studied his mother. She did most psychotic things you can ever think of, you can ever think of. And people rightfully so dislike her because if at first, like for example, I didn't know anything about her, and when I saw the wedding, I thought it was amazing and beautiful and gorgeous. She definitely exploited him, but she also broke the family. Just think about it. One heir of the throne, one, of the royal line. She broke the family. She isolated him from everything and everyone. And, they could have all those luxuries. They could have status. They could have been going on the missions. They could have been, she could have so much. She could have been top of the top and she would be officially royal. She didn't want to follow the rules, and she probably thought that she's gonna milk this cow forever. But you can only call people the R word only that long. You can call, you can, if you beat, if you cut the hand that feeds you, it's going to backfire. I don't really know what their plan was when they left, because you can only criticize and talk bad about people that, wait, oh my gosh, different mosquitoes. You can only do it that much, but then what? How do you milk the cow that you are criticizing? Oh my gosh, we are in action here, guys. I'm trying to breathe some fresh air. Oh my goodness, it's been hotter than hell, so I have to go out at night. Welcome everybody who is new on the channel. Welcome, feel free to contribute. I think I'm gonna make like a very short and concise video on this topic, so everybody who's interested can watch without interruptions. But I love the live format because we could talk. Let me say hello. Can you guys see me and hear me, or is it very spotty? I don't know. I need to go to my phone provider, and ask what's going on. She wasn't up to the royal family standards. Well, she was accepted. She was accepted to all the royal family standards. They gave you the best wedding, the wedding of the century. She had Kate on her side. She had everybody on her side. Everybody was rooting for her. She she didn't want to follow up the protocol. She didn't want to follow rules. She wanted to be a royal without the duties, and she wanted to have her freedom. She wanted to be in California. But now, I don't know what kind of job she gonna have. That's the thing. What about Harry? She broke his career. His wait, his royal destiny, his duty. That all is broken now. How he's supposed to make money? They don't look like real hustlers. Like he's supposed to work at Disney World as Prince, or Disneyland or Disney World. Supposed to, how they have all those kids things for kids. What he's supposed to do? So this is actually a fine example of a shark woman, of a true shark. Uh, yeah, real hustler? No, they are not hustlers. She tried to do a lot of shows. She tried to do a lot of things, and the reason why everything she does is not working because she's not a genuine person. She does not like doing it. She doesn't like doing those gyms. She's just very self-centered person, and she's obsessed with how people see her. That's why she has to control everything. She has to just she's I don't even know. I'm not a psychiatrist, but yeah, they're not hustlers. And like, what do you think they're gonna? Oi, what do you think they're gonna do now? Like, okay, you had a scandal. You called people names. You put a shadow on people who gave you the best. I just think it's so unfair to say as if they were racist, they were this and that, when they give you everything they could possibly give you, and then you cannot tell who said that. So you basically just put a bunch of dirt on people without, and took the best from them. I mean, no family is perfect, but you were welcomed. You had truly a wedding of the century. You had everything there for you, and all you can do is just tell everybody that that's not good enough and they're racist on top of it. That's a huge accusation, especially when you were welcomed. So yeah, Megan is actually, this is funny because she's a true example of a shark. She was very good with her strategy with obtaining Harry. She was excellent because she saw through just about everything. She played that boy like there is no tomorrow. But she didn't plan for the further future. So she didn't plan like how he's supposed to make the ends meet. Now he doesn't have profession, he never worked, he has no skills. The only thing is he could be I don't know, working in Disney World. I don't know. The royal family is powerful, but she was welcome there. She decided to live. Yeah, I'm a prince, like wearing a suit. No, no place is perfect, but she anytime a person isolate you from others, you don't have to be a prince or a princess, or royalty or celebrity, but anytime you meet a person and they try to replace the whole world for you, with just their personality, they think, oh, you don't need these friends, you don't need your family, they are bad, those are terrible. So before you know it, you lost all of your connections, you lost all of your friendships, and you are just with that person. That's a major sign of incredible level of narcissism and self-absorption and control. So women sharks, they are very big in control. Women sharks are very, very big when it comes to controlling. Let me say hello to everybody. Yes, I think, I really, I really want to dive in. I just wanted to honor who This person, I don't know if it's a girl or a boy, if it's a man or a woman who asking me these questions, but um, yes, I will make another video on the subject because it's important. You know, we can actually learn, the good women could actually learn something from shark women because they would never use it in a bad way. Um, they would never use it in a bad way, but good women lack certain qualities, and they are too kind. I'm not saying you should be you should have bad character, but honestly, just like good men, good women need, you know, just a little bit of even understanding. uh may I ask you a question? Why are you walking in the dark by yourself? Aren't you scared? You're a beautiful woman just walking around in the dark. You know why? Because I can. I am not scared at all because I live in an extremely safe place. And I was waiting all day to go for a walk. I was waiting all day to go for a walk, but even though I'm kind of in the north, so to speak, but this is way too hot for me. I am dying. I love your response because I can. Yes, exactly that. Yes, I am. I feel very, very safe where I am at, and I love going for walks, but just even get fresh air. I mean, it's not particularly fresh, I'll be honest with you, but I just wanted to go outside. Wait, no, I don't want to lose my line. Just a second, guys. Mikey, hello. Let's see. Ooh, you see, I feel like I'm in Florida. In Florida, you always have this moisture on your face. But no, I'm not in Florida. I am much more northern. Okay, mosquito, get off my live stream. I am much more northern than Florida, but let me tell you, it's kind of hot and humid, but it's better now. So yeah, I appreciate. Oh my goodness, Mikey, that's horrible. I appreciate the concern. Thank you for asking. That actually was very sweet to ask, but I'm very safe and I just need a walk. Plus, I'm gonna use some points of this video to make the video about the sharks. You know, a woman should be a little bit of a shark when it comes to protection. A lot of very good natured and a lot of very naive women, they become in a prey in this crazy world. But a good woman only use certain things when she needs to protect herself. So, ow, mosquito flew into my eye. Did you guys see that? Go away. Go away. I sprayed my feet, but I didn't spray my face because I don't like that on my face. Veronica has air support, yes. Um, Let me see some comments. But anyway, we were talking today about these shark types of women. They are very smart because they don't operate with the heart. They don't have empathy. They don't have any. It's nothing personal, you know. It's business. But very often, men get that mystery. They get that fascination from these kind of women. They just get obsessed. I consult men when it comes to dating women. Sometimes I'm helping men out to understand certain cultures, also to understand how to position themselves better, how to understand women. And I've noticed that many men are very much addicted to certain kinds of women, even though somewhere they understand that this is probably not genuine. but nevertheless, they are addicted. And that addiction comes from those women, they cater to man's weakest part, is the lustful part. They know exactly how to manipulate a man in that department, how to make him addicted, attached through understanding some things that rule most men, certain desires. They know his insecurities and they try to play into those insecurities, make them feel as if those insecurities don't exist. Like, for example, if the guy is very skinny, he doesn't have, posture or muscles or nice shoulders. If the guy is um, not doesn't really have a powerful, he's not really attractive, doesn't have a nice stature, scrawny, I think that's the word. A shark woman would say, "Oh, you look amazing. Your arms, you feel so strong. You working out?" And they know how to say it. They really know how to say it. Or if the guy is a lot older, and I work a lot with men who are mature, let's say, and they all say, Veronica, they told me that I look so young. And of course, don't get me wrong, there are men who are very good looking, that are aged like fine wine. But believe me, most of people look their age, and most of these compliments are absolutely false. But the women know that in many ways men are looking for younger women because they want to feel young again. They want to feel like they got it. They want to show off to other people. So therefore, oi, do I see a deer? Oh wow, deer crossing the street. Nice. Hello. It's too dark, otherwise I would show you. So yeah, they really do know what they do. And when somebody, many men who were married, they, how it is, especially regular people. You unfortunately, in a long-term relationships, we are humans. Very often we forget to appreciate what we have. We just focus on, bills, on what needs to get done. Here is your list. So women forget that men need compliments too. Men need acknowledgments too. Men needs recognition too. Men need somebody to believe in them. And sometimes those things kind of fall off when you're in a long-term marriage. It's like you have a lot of problems, kids and household and all of this. So what often happens is the shark woman that is right there, like Lawrence on, he had a very productive marriage, the children, the business that they did together, everything for, I don't know, over 2 decades or so. But she knew that his wife is probably not meeting him every night in some La Perla Italian lingerie. She's probably not doing that. So she knew that. So she probably told him, "When I saw you, I knew you were a giant." I don't know, whatever that means, because Jeff Bezos is pretty short, and I think he got on hormones and workouts when he met her. She made him believe that not only he's a successful businessman, but that he is it, that he is hard and strong, that he is uh, how to say this, he got it, he's not only some nerd, but that he is, he's a man, he's hot, he's attractive, he got it. So she responded to his dark, deep desires, but she also made him feel like he is not just some boring nerdy guy, which he really is, but he's a man. He got it. He's the alpha, so to speak. She played to many insecurities of him and make him feel as if she doesn't notice those insecurities. And in fact, he is the opposite of what he was afraid he is. He's not a nerd. He's the opposite of nerd. He is manly. He's masculine. He's attractive. He's big and powerful. That's how she made him feel. And of course, they started an affair, so she definitely have some tricks in her bag, meaning she knew what she was doing, and she got him into that affair, that cost him half of his net worth back then. And my theory is that he's one of the main reasons why he's marrying her is because she made him feel this way. Also, because of the damage control, he wants to show that, oh, I didn't get seduced and manipulated. I met the love of my life. Yes, she was married. Yes, her husband at the time introduced her to me. Yes, we started our relationship when she was still married and I was married. But that was true love. When everybody knows that was true lust, and he only he only married her so he can cover up this very ugly situation. I think there is a reason why there was not a genuine celebration of their wedding, because there was no children, there was no grown children. I don't know if they have grandchildren. There was no family, there was no childhood friends, there was no true happiness. They could afford millions and millions for their wedding. They were not met well with people of Venice because they have their reservations about them, and they also cause great distress for the city, although making big investments in the city. Yet people were not happy. It was not like a happy event. If that was Catherine, the Princess of Wales, and William, because of Catherine's personality and because how people love both of them, if they would have their wedding or some kind of celebration in Venice, people would cheer. There would be most beautiful celebration. People would probably print their portraits. It would be stunning. It would be something so special. It would be like once in a lifetime. But because it was this very weird people who are there to show off, who are not really there to celebrate no love, they're just there to show off. They want to show that they are celebrities now. They know all these people, because it was such a show off thing. It was not. It was not from the heart. They could afford everything with the wedding, everything, but not the heartfelt, beautiful celebration. Everything else they had the dark lip celebrities. They had all these posers there, all the performances, but they did not have true celebration, true excitement, and that's why people could feel that as well, and they didn't want them there, despite, I don't know, despite or in spite of the millions of dollars. Generally, people would be happy if somebody coming and proposing millions of dollars. Most cities, most citizens would be happy that their city gonna get so much funding. But most people were repulsed by them. They were repulsed by their poor taste, and also they also know that this wedding is absolutely fake. You know, Italian people are very real. They're also very stylish. They are very classy. And I don't think they were approving all of this circus. I don't think so. Most people were not happy to see them there, and it was like a PR ceremony, not anything beautiful. So, and this is what the fake love gives you. You know, fake relationship gives you, fake performance give you. Wait, Mikey is saying, Veronica, are you reading my story? What do you mean, Mikey? Maybe. Am I? Okay. Don't bump into me. This is so crazy. We have a bit of humidity, so I am shining. I'm shining bright. Yes. So things we will never know how. In case of Lauren Sanchez, it has the other side too, because even though even though Jeff Bezos is kind of a nerd, but he does know how much power he has, and I'm sure that he's using her as well. He's using her. Um, he is also using her as an accessory because she will do whatever he will tell her as well. She will do the surgeries he will send her to do. You know, she will do certain things that, you know, she's an accessory. Somehow he has very horrible taste. So out of a beautiful, I mean, attractive woman as she was before, although I don't like her, but she was very, I mean, she was pretty attractive, to my opinion, before the surgeries. Not that her heart was beautiful, but you know, she's turning into this monster because of all the surgeries. He likes that, so she doesn't really have. Um, she's an accessory, a very expensive accessory. But the problem, the most painful thing when you become a victim of a, so to speak, a shark woman, when you become a victim of this, is that in the end you're going to be very disappointed because they're not going to be warmth, they're not going to be affection, they're not going to be empathy, they're not going to be any games like this when the cameras are off. Remember, if you saw an interview, maybe, or some pieces of it of Meghan Markle when she met Harry, how submissive she was, how she looked at him, her, how she was, you know, she looked like such a good wife, so much love, so much affection. Elizabeth, maybe you watched that. I don't know if you did, but at those, I think I watched some part of the interview. She was just like, you know, the most submissive and traditional wife in the history of humanity, the most empathetic. That all was performance, obviously. But when that part is over, the problem with the shark wife, I see. The problem with the shark wife is that there is no empathy, there is no love, there is no connection, and when the sexuality very, believe me, it's also performance. It's not like she really wants you. She's at a job. She does not really want, you know, these women, they usually don't really want this man. They're at the job, so you know, you get tired. It's a hard work. So you know, that goes down, and then there is nothing, because in a real relationship, when you have true connection, the sexual, the passionate part is sometimes, you know, at least partially becoming more subtle, but there are other things that are developing, and that's compassion, that is understanding, empathy, warmth, companionship, you know, all those other things. So love becoming more deeper. It's not as It's not as crazy exciting, but it's becoming deeper, and it's a lot of comfort, a lot of beautiful things there. Therefore, a man who becoming the victims of the shark women, they gonna be very very disappointed. Like for example, with Jeff Bezos, it's not even just the money. He going to be so disappointed about this because he naively think it's about him, that this woman met a man of her dreams. She didn't care if that was a monkey or I don't know. She didn't care who that would be, but he think it's him. It's his, it's his persona. It's his masculinity. He's gonna be deeply disappointed because she is going to leave him high and dry. She's going to really show her nature sooner or later, and he will need every psychiatrist in the world, every coach, every counselor, because he will be very humiliated in front of everybody after this wedding, after all the show offs, after all this money, all the celebrities. Here he is. um, it's not going to end well. As we all understand. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm in Florida. Let me read some of your comments. I think I'm gonna try to record that video because, I've actually dealt with many clients who had shark relationships, but I want to tell you that all that they have in common was that they were very much lustful about the woman. Like their responsibility there those women personality. They didn't care that much either, and they just were head over heels. I matched a lot of Slavic ladies with American men, and they were all starved for, for femininity, for all these things. Of course, there are beautiful and feminine women in America too, but it's on a lower side. If I will go tomorrow, if I will walk my little town tomorrow, you're not gonna see a woman wearing a dress. You're not gonna see a woman, with her lipstick. I mean, you're going to see very, very casual kind of women, and some of them are very beautiful too. But these men were very much attracted to this kind of somewhat exotic beauty, and very often they completely disregarded the character. And so most of these men got into the hands of sharks, and I guess that's a learning curve. That's how you learn. It is sad for me to see when men are missing out on very on a on a wife material type of women. It's so sad to see because there are women like that, but they are not as enticing. They are not as mysterious. They are just loving and caring, and a lot of times men just they maybe they don't believe that uh, this is long term a better choice. I don't know. Let me read some of your comments, guys. We're gonna be wrapping up. It's rather late. I'm like Cinderella. Oh my gosh, I can't believe how hot it is still. It's so I'm shining like a star, like a diamond. Shine bright. Yes, if I have one perk of living where I live is I can literally walk here at 12 a.m., at 1 a.m., and I'll be just fine. If I don't die from the heat, okay. Yeah, I put a moisturizer and now I'm shining. That's so true. It was a lot of lusting that drew me in. Got ate up by a shark at an early age. I'm sorry to hear that, Mikey. It's not uncommon. We are ruled by our hormones. Women in one way, men in other, and also at different times. But this is so common. This is so common, and very often when we have like a really high chemistry, we overlook the person's character. We don't even know what we just assume. Not only we overlook the character, we assume that it's a great character. It's a beautiful woman. When you are compatible with somebody, when somebody is beautiful in your eyes, so attractive, you you draw the character. Just for the women, the problem with women, when you are looking for true connection with someone and you didn't have a chance to get to know them, or you becoming intimate with them before they got committed, you get attached to them. You have all those hormones, all those bonding hormones. You just get very attached to them. That's why I realize now more and more that how wrong it is to actually, for both men and women, to have too many partners, too many connections, quick, like getting quick into the intimacy, because it's literally blurs you. A man cannot see a woman's character, and a woman also cannot see this man for real. She cannot see, is this man will be a good husband? Will he take care of the children? Will he even take care of me, or will he leave? Why, when the chemistry, the intimacy things, the desires, like once he get what he wanted, so many relationships just end because this man wasn't able to provide to begin with. You know, if the man wasn't able to provide to begin with, he may not even have intentions to do. He said he did, but then you see the reality that this woman maybe not always looking like a photoshopped photo. She's a woman. She has her days. She has this, that, and the other, and then a man, once he get what he wanted, he kind of get. At first it's exciting, and then he's like, okay, well, I tried that already, so I am moving to something else. And for a woman, after that, she gets it. Usually, a good woman, a good-natured woman, usually gets attached to a man after the intimacy, and this is where he checks out. So this is about men sharks. When there is all this future faking. Oh, we're gonna be doing this. I'm gonna buy a house. I'm gonna do this. We're gonna have children, and then when his obsession wears off, because you are not a shark woman, you are just a normal woman, and you have bad days, you have bad moods, you have all kinds of things going on. You're not perfect either, but he never really gotten to know you in the first place, and so everything just gets broken. So the more mature I become, the more I realize that the dating culture is set to for multiple breakups, or heartbreaks and breakups. The people who can wait and people who have patience will have a much better life, whether they're single or married or dating. People that have like willpower, that can stay by themselves for a moment. Sage tea, okay, okay, okay. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thanks, Mikey. Thank you, Elizabeth. Well, Mikey, I'm sorry I described your ex-wife, but how that happened. Happens. It's part of life. If we would know everything. Um, before in early days, in early times, people used to have communities, and like older men would teach younger men things. Um, Experienced women, wise women would teach the younger ones. And we have 4 quarters in life. In every quarter you go up, you know more. For example, there are a lot of things that I could tell myself 10 years ago, but there also going to be a lot of things that I would tell myself 10 years from now. And that's why it was important to have these communities, to have this wisdom passing to each other from people that live the little. Because, as we say in Ukraine, the difference between smart and dumb, that smart already had been dumb. Okay, let me read some comments. Okay, some comments are gone, my dear friends. I'm sorry. Um, what country and city are you from? I'm originally from Kiev, Ukraine. For those who are new, if you're still here. Okay. I'm reading some comments, guys. Just want to see. I'm sorry. It's really hard to read comments and talk. That's why I'll have to make all my points again. Yeah. Yeah, in America they say a stupid is a stupid does. Yeah. But the thing is, on the other hand, there is no other way to live life. Um, the only way not to make mistakes is to live, way curiously, not to do anything. We all also come to our own conclusions. We have our own needs. It's just, when you're doing something consistently, you see the patterns. You see the patterns, and that's why sometimes it's good to have a mentor, coach, or somebody, because they deal with these patterns for a living. They already know. When I was consulting men who were dating Slavic women, they don't even have to finish the sentence. I already know what the situation is about, and I can lay it out, and the man who is asking me for help can take his decision. You know, so there is that. For sure. I think that sometimes also you need someone's view from the outside. Because when you're in something, you can be extremely smart, you can be extremely professional, you can be brilliant. But when you are inside of something, when you are inside of the situation, it's hard to see for what it is. Um, I think it's still like 90 degrees. A side note, I think, well, maybe like 85, which is very, for us northern people, very, very hot. So I think that would help when I get inside of an air conditioner. That would definitely help. But it's okay. It's life. I don't know if Aaron's still here. Hello, Aaron. Welcome. Yeah, it's a bit late today. I think hey California, hey Aaron, somebody from some country, some Latin America. Hello. Yes, my dear friends, it's rather late. Thank you so much for walking with me, for the company. 115 degrees. Oh my gosh, better kill me right away. I'm be honest. I love being outside. I love hiking. I like nature. I like what they call forest bathing. I like to do all these things, but hell, I'm not coming out in a. For me, 90 degrees is like just forget I exist. Where is my air? I can't. It's so miserable. I'm miserable. It's that cold, like just hot. I mean, forget you knew me, and I am like I'm hibernating with a air conditioner. The only exception, if you go to the lake, our lakes are pretty amazing, especially Lake Michigan, few others. To the lake, I don't mind if it's very hot. I just need like a thick layer of a sunscreen like this. I literally look like Marlon Brando in one of his movies. I forgot. What's the name of that movie? He had some disease and he had this big black glasses and he had a thick layer of sunscreen. He looked like a mommy. That's how I look when I'm at the lake because my skin is very fair and when you have 90 degrees, it's not gonna be good. it's gonna be I'm gonna be burnt. Yeah, well, Kiev, Ukraine has the same meridian, I don't know, as Michigan. So yeah, 80, 90 degrees is extremely hot for us. It's ridiculous. No. And I'm like, I'm not living in the north to experience this heat. This has to stop. If I want this heat, I would be living south. Oh my goodness. No, this is not. They cannot be serious about this. But at least I'm wearing a silk top, and it helps. I love very natural materials in summer because otherwise it's absolutely awful. All right, my dear friends, thank you so much, guys, for stopping by. I know it's very late. I was not going to go live that late, but it's just one thing after another. And I'm a bit of a night owl schedule nowadays, but I'm gonna change it soon. I'm gonna try to change it to my normal schedule. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming. If I did not read your comment, you can write it under the video. Elizabeth, thank you. I'm okay, Elizabeth. I am home, actually. I'm a couple blocks from where I live, so don't worry. I appreciate it, but don't worry. I don't live in fear, you know? I really don't like when people are worrying too much because it's uncomfortable to me. Nothing beats a jet to holiday. What? Are you advertising a car wash? What time it is? I don't know. Actually, I know. 12:20. It's 12:20 here. What time were you at? I know in California. I don't know. Aaron's probably not here anymore, but Aaron is lucky because it's 3 hours less in California. Oh, is that early there? Yeah. Wow, that's really early. Yes, that is super early, Elizabeth. All right, my dear friends. I might be natural beauty next time because this makeup cannot hold the heat. I was actually recording some stuff for the Instagram, so I had to do a little bit more of makeup and um for the but man, this is not a good idea. Veronica, go to the car wash. No, I'm gonna go home in my wonderful air conditioning. I love air conditioning. And I have fans and air conditioner and I have water and I have all kinds of things. And I have zero drama and zero stress. I'm having this moment right now when I have zero drama and zero stress. Imagine that. You know. You guys coming with me to my car? Oh, man, it's cooler in my car. All right, my dear friends, I want to wish you a very good night. I'm gonna be trying to go live earlier when I can. I don't know yet what my schedule gonna be, but thank you for joining. I would like to get first so I can reapply to remonetize my channel and also it can get some of the other features back. Okay. Okay. All is good. I was scared for a moment. What time is where you are at, Mikey? Yeah, it is nice. The reason why I really like the lives, and I know that there are other formats that are probably better. I really like the lives because it gives a connection, very unfiltered, very real. And a lot of people have been writing me that they really enjoy the conversation. They really, really enjoy the just the live formats and the conversation. Of course, there are many ways to improve it. There are many technical ways to improve it. There are a million things that I could be doing, but I really like to be able to communicate and connect, especially when I can, So sometimes I have busier parts of life and there is literally no time to do it. And also, I like to take a lot of time off internet, but when I can, I really like having connection. I'm one of those people. I myself love watching live videos, people that I like, because it's so much more personal than pre-recorded. It's so much more, I don't know, it's just so much more personal. I don't know how to explain it. When you find people that think like you, maybe they don't live where you are at, but it's for me. I just love the lifestyle, the life style. Anyway, Elizabeth, thank you so very much for being here. Thanks everybody who supports the channel. I haven't heard from a few people that have been supporting me on Coffee or my Patreon. I want to, if you hear this, I want to give you a special thank you because, as you know, I got in a very bad side of YouTube for my opinions or something I did wrong. I don't know, but hopefully we are coming back from that. And your support really means a lot to me. It's not like I need that or I will die without it, but it just shows that you really enjoy my things that I do and talk about. It's just really a beautiful reassurance for me. So I really appreciate my supporters, people who come to the lives, who comment, who contribute to the some of my sites. I really, really appreciate it, but all of it, everything, the thoughtful comments, the shares, the likes, and I will try to grow on my side and think of better ways to do the lives and to keep the channel going. But I also have life, and sometimes I get into my life and I just want to be off internet. So there is always that. But I'm wishing you a beautiful, restful night. I hope you will have air conditioner. Thank goodness for air conditioning. Thank goodness for air conditioners and for the fans. There are never too many fans, you know what I mean? All right, my dear friends, thank you so much for staying. And Mikey, I'm glad that what I was talking today was relatable. But this is a very common situation. Um, we cannot change other people, but what we could do is learn and know better. That's, I think, what life is about. We can go on and off about our exes, what they did to us. We can go on and off about our friends who betrayed us. We can go on and off about the economy. We can do all these things, so we can just accept that these are certain patterns, and we accepted certain things we overlooked. I have the same process. I'm looking even a year ago, and certain things that I've accepted, certain things that I agreed to, certain things that I overlooked. With what I know now, I would never do again. But even as early as a year ago, I was talking about 5, 10, 15 years ago. So it's a process. As I say, the only difference with the smart and dumb is that the smart one already had been dumb. That's for sure. Anyway, my dear friends, I will see you very soon. Thank you for walking with me, for your protection, for your company. I will see you very soon. If you enjoyed my video, don't forget to put a like. If you think that maybe one of your friends would like my channel, or something, or you want to share on social media, you want somebody to come on live, let me know. All right. Thank you guys so very much, and to my supporters, thank you so much for supporting. I will post some of the links under the video, how you can reach me, how you can find me, and I hope you have the most beautiful night. Finally, I'm saying good night. Sweet dreams, everyone. Thank you for stopping by.